Hi, I am so glad you're here. This class is going to go over the shame which is caused by society and beliefs that we feel when certain things happen in our lives. But the main focus in this class is going to be on the shame we put upon ourselves when we enter a mental health crisis. I've gone through this personally. My blog, UnShamed.co, walks you through my personal story and how I felt so ashamed when I finally accepted that I was clinically depressed and needed more help than I could give myself. This conclusion was not natural or easy for me to come to. Once I admitted it, I had to accept it, and that was really hard. When we feel shame, when we violate the social or religious norms we believe in, that's where shame comes from. Let me say that again. We feel shame when we violate the social or religious norms we believe in. Shame makes us direct our focus inward and view our entire self in a negative light. Now, obviously, this is not helpful in any way. In fact, it can be extremely harmful if done to someone who is in a situation which is out of their control, such as trauma caused by someone else or a mental health disorder or illness that they don't even know that they have. And just a quick statistics uh, that women are quicker to feel humiliated than men are. Now, contrary-wise, shame is not guilt. Okay, we're talking about shame in this class. I just want you to understand the difference here. Guilt is a result from a concrete action for which we had a willing part in said action and accept responsibility. Guilt causes us to focus our attention on the feelings of others. This feeling, contrary to shame, is mainly helpful. It helps us to regulate what is right and what is wrong within the bounds of society. Feelings of guilt, though painful, are less disabling than shame and are likely to motivate an individual in a positive direction toward reparation or change. Guilt means you have the ability to show empathy. This is a good thing, but be careful because sometimes prolonged guilt can trigger shame in some people. Now, those of us who have or are predisposed to anxiety and depression are more likely to feel a greater weight of shame. If you find yourself constantly using degrading terms and seemingly apologizing for just being you, then you may have lower self-esteem than others and or may be suffering from a mental health disorder already. So be mindful of your thoughts and how you truly feel about yourself. You can always change the way you perceive yourself, but it will take work and usually help outside of yourself. The healthiest way to cope with shame is to own it and allow shame to dissipate with time. Like most intense events, shame eventually fades and is replaced by other emotions. A second alternative, how to deal with it, is alter your standards or rules. If you haven't broken a standard or a rule and nothing's been violated, then you have no reason to worry about shame. You have no reason to feel ashamed. But then you are changing what you have believed in up to this point in your life, and this can be a very dangerous path to start down. Third, you can avoid the self-blame game. The more one can blame an external source, the more likely one will avoid feeling shame. It's usually the narcissistic or filterless person who cannot see their fault in any situation. Finally, you can confess. Not necessarily confession regarding a religious sect of confession, although that is confession. Confession can also be considered simply telling someone else something that happened or something that you did, telling someone or confessing of an event that has shamed you. Confession is associated with the concept of forgiveness and love. It serves as a way of dissolving shame through the act of redemption. But these are not ways to deal with shame within mental health. Now that we've covered some basics of shame, let's talk specifically about shame as it relates to mental health. Because really, that is where shame becomes toxic and starts to affect our health in more than one way. Those listed here are the top disorders in the world. I felt shame in an overwhelming way once I accepted the fact that I was clinically depressed. But why is it like that? I'm not what you would consider a pushover type of person or the kind of person who has no self-esteem. I consider myself lucky in the circle of people around me who are supportive and non-judgmental. And still, I had this huge feeling of shame. I told myself that I know I shouldn't feel shame, and yet I did in a really big way. It took me weeks after I personally accepted that I was depressed. It took me weeks to even begin telling those around me what I had come to accept. By using these terms loosely to describe a present mood or attitude, it perpetuates these stigmas of negativity and trivializes these mental health conditions as being abnormal and bad. And as a result, many people do not take these disorders seriously when, in fact, they are devastating to so many. Instead, these terms are used to insult or joke around. People think these off the cuff remarks are harmless, but the reality is that they hurt those living with mental illnesses and their families, and they increase the misperceptions about these illnesses. These stigmas have been ingrained into our society, which has perpetuated the feelings of shame in those of us who have suffered or are suffering from a mental health disorder. Know that you can never look at someone and know if they are suffering from a mental health illness or not. So, all joking aside, this is a serious issue. I am living proof that admitting, seeking, accepting, and getting professional help when it is needed and necessary, these things will not kill you. As the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche says, what doesn't kill you will only make you stronger. And I am so much stronger now that I have gotten help. You should never feel ashamed of reaching for help. In fact, you are stronger than you even realize if you are asking for help now. If there is someone in your circle who is shaming you for saying you need help for a mental health disorder or illness, or that you have decided upon a course of action to help yourself, such as taking medication, then you need to take a moment to think about those toxic people and things in your life, because that is what that is, toxicity. And more toxicity in your life right now is not only going to make you even more sick, it can stress you out even more and put you in a worse place than you already are. Here in this space, right now, you are unshamed. This community will be nothing but uplifting and inspiring messages, so lean on us. Coming to realization that you are not alone is empowering. Let me reiterate. There should be no shaming from anyone, especially those in your circle of people, when you ask for help, tell someone you have a mental health illness or disorder, or tell anyone you are going to try something to get you on a path of recovery. If you are experiencing these kinds of hurtful responses, please know you are not alone. There are people out there who want to help you and support you through this process. Don't give up. Find someone else who you can confide in. Find someone who will lift you and offer non-judgmental help. I'm here when you're ready. Find my services on my blog at unshamed.co/consultation for a free consultation with me. So, what kinds of things can help me? After my searching and researching, this is what I know. Most people reach out to their PCP or primary care physician first. This can be a good place to start. They will listen to your ailments and why you feel quote unquote off, and may offer you a prescription depending upon your symptoms. If you would like to know more about medications used for some mental health disorders and illnesses, please watch my class about anxiety. Now, I'm not opposed to prescriptions, as I have gone through numerous myself. However, I found with my own body, they were not ultimately what put me onto the path of recovery. I'm going to get to that in a minute, though. But they were instead a hit or miss at best, if they worked at all. And some took a really long time to even see if they were going to work. So for me, it was very frustrating. But they were at least a help. I will say they took the edge off enough so I could start to function and fake it through my daily activities. Your PCP may also refer you to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, therapist, coach, or a healer. If you want to know more about the differences of these types of health professionals, please go to unshamed.co and read my blog post about depression. It's called Depression is a Downer. Now, I have my own therapist, but I will tell you that I went through a handful. Why? Because I wasn't comfortable with the others. Now, it may seem weird or unsettling or about the thought of telling a health professional that they are not the right fit for you. But if they're true to their profession, they will totally understand and even should help offer to find someone else for you. Remind yourself that you're paying them. You're using your hard-earned money. You are taking your precious time, trust, and energy, because a lot of times when you've got a mental health illness, you don't have any extra energy to do anything. So this is for your mental health. If you are not 100% comfortable with that professional, keep looking. One caveat to this, though, is if you've gone through more than a few or a handful of professionals, then you might need to ask yourself, is it really them or is it me? Am I not willing to open up? Am I not willing to let them in? Am I telling the truth? Am I telling the whole truth? If you're not ready to go into therapy with an open heart and mind, then it's not going to work anyways, and you're wasting all of your resources. Alternative, integrative, or complementary medicines may be terms or concepts you've heard about. Some of you may have even used them to this point in your life. I have enjoyed my study and integration of naturopathy into my own life and healing. To name a few, there are acupuncture, chiropractic, Reiki, energy work, herbal, and Ayurvedic, and then the list goes on and on. Now, these kinds of medicines can go hand in hand with traditional treatments. And if you have a good medical doctor, then they'll not be against combining them. Or you can always reach out to a naturopathic medical doctor, or NMD. Now, as I promised, I'm going to tell you what finally worked for me. I combined two alternative treatments with my traditional medication. One is called TMS, or transcranial magnetic stimulation, and the other is ketamine infusion. Now, these two alternative treatments took me a matter of weeks to accomplish, and I have been able to slowly, and with the support and help of my psychiatrist, lower my dose to eventually getting off of my traditional medication. And for me, that was a huge accomplishment. This is a community of like minded people searching for answers to uplift, help, and provide hope during the hard things in life we all go through. You should never feel ashamed of reaching for help. If you are searching for help now, you are stronger than you even realize. Mental health only gets worse when those around us, particularly those in our inner circle, are shaming us when we admit we need help. Please know, you are not alone. There is help out there. Please don't give up. If you like this class, I have so many more. So many things to help uplift you, inspire you, get you through crazy in life. Read my blogs on my website. Watch my other videos on my YouTube channel. If you're ready to make changes in your own life and want someone to help coach you along, I'm waiting for you. When you're ready, go to my blog and click in the coaching tab for a free consultation. Make sure you reference my resources pages on my blog. Go to my homepage, unshamed.co, and you will see resources for mental health, self-care, and healthy living. Here, you're going to find many offers, fun and helpful. You can also find me on these social media sites, and feel free to email me with questions. I love when I get questions from my readers and listeners. And your support in subscribing helps me to be able to continue to provide these free classes to you. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Kathleen Ann Unshamed. And when you do, you'll be able to get the notifications when I post my next class, which will be soon. These are some of the resources that I got some of my information from for this class. Feel free to use them at your will. And thank you for joining us.